Yun.
So habang hinihintay natin si Troy Rike, shoutout muna kay Trizen Nash Havares at welcome sa aming another episode ng Last 2 Minutes Podcast with D-Sports TV, Boleros Lifestyle, Nash Basketball TV at Sports Icon PH at syempre ang guest namin, Troy Rike. Pero habang hinihintay pa natin si Troy Rike, comment nyo lang yung gusto nga magpa-shoutout hanggat hindi pa tayo nag-start, may shoutout namin kayo.
Ako din siya.
Teka lang, switch lang ako.
Dinig ba ako, mga idol?
Pa-audio check nga ako bro, mga magsalita nga kayo.
Hello, hello. Dinig ako, bro Kino? Dinig
Dinig
kita. Okay, thank you. Wala ka, bro Rain.
Hello, mic test.
Ayan. Check.
Gmar
I think okay
Cuarte,
naman yung audio natin lahat, no?
Ayan.
Gmar Cuarte, nakapirma na, no? Nakapirma na si Troy Rike. Mamaya tanong natin. At Jack Arbano, present na naman. Magandang
hapon sa'yo.
So anytime soon, papasok na si Sir Troy Rike. Kung meron kayong gustong itanong sa kanya, paki-comment na lang dito sa baba.
Nandito tayo ngayon sa live episode ng Last 2 Minutes Podcast kasama ang mga kapita-pitagan kong mga kapatid sa industriya ng YouTube, si Sir Kino ng From the Sideline.
Magandang hapon sa mga viewers ni Boleros Lifestyle. Ako nga pala si Kino. At ayun, ng From the Sideline.
At ang Gilas Insider, Resident Gilas Insider ng Last 2 Minutes Podcast, si D-Sports TV. Medyo may...
Hindi naman insider, bro. Hindi naman insider.
Hindi. In and out.
Gilas fan.
Gilas, heart and soul. Parang star player ka na ng Gilas.
Favorite yan.
Yan. Basta Gilas, D-Sports yan. At ang ating idol, si Nash Basketball TV.
Gandang hapon sa inyong lahat, sa mga viewers ng ating mga channels na naka-live ngayon.
Shoutout sa Cuarte family. Binabati yan ni Gmar Cuarte. Yun, magandang hapon po sa inyo, no, sa pamilya Cuarte. Lagi po kayong mag-iingat ngayong panahon ng pandemya. At Jack Arbano, English speaking ba si Rike? Oo, dudugo na naman ang ilong namin. At Erwin Salmingo, no? Magandang hapon sa iyo, no? Ito, no, mga naglalabasan yung ating mga supporter at nakakabisado na namin yung mga pangalan nyo. Actually, ano, maraming salamat sa suporta na binibigay nyo po dito sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast. At isa kayo sa mga dahilan kung bakit tinutuloy namin yung aming podcast, no? Dahil kung wala kayo, baka wala na rin kami. Saan daw puntahan ng team ni Troy Rike? Si Troy Rike po ay nasa koponan po ng Northport.
Shoutout muna sa mga subscribers ko kay Arturo Samonte at kay Riel Apines. Magandang hapon, shoutout. Mga yan, masugid nating viewers.
Yan.
Sa akin naman, shoutout, Jerry Dionsay. May tanong dito, si Jerry. Ano daw yung rumors ngayon sa PBA and balita kay Ray Park? Siguro, magla-live ulit kami regarding that. Kung napanood yung live namin kay Ray Park, sa yun nga napag-usapan namin kung ano yung mga gagawin kung kami si Ray Parks. I think si Troy Rike is coming in already.
Ito na si Troy Rike.
Hi, Troy. I think that there's no audio, Troy. Can you try again?
Can you guys hear me? Test.
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you now.
Cool.
Hi, good afternoon. So, to all our viewers, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Last 2 Minutes Podcast. And here we are. And eto na yung pinakahihintay nyo, the most awaited. And we're pretty excited to have you here on our show, Mr. Troy Reich, the newest Northport Batang Pier. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited.
And by the way, again, you already know me. I'm your ultimate bolero, Boleros Nation. What's up?
And I am D Sports TV. Kamusta kayo mga kabalero?
I'm Kino, from the sideline. Magandang hapon sa inyo lahat.
Snash Basketball TV. Kamusta mga idol?
And welcome, Troy, in our podcast. First of all, we would like to congratulate you. And 6 months since our last interview, and fast forward, you are now part of the PBA. How are you right now, and how are you preparing for the upcoming PBA season?
I'm good. I'll be honest. I was in really high spirits, especially after the draft, working out with my teammates. I was so excited, the season was only a couple weeks away. It was, dream come true. But this lockdown, man, has been tough. Like it looks like the season's not looking great. We haven't been able to practice lately. So at this exact moment, if I'm being honest, I'm a little down. But everyone's going through it. People have bigger problems in the world. So I'm still trying to keep my spirits up, and just whenever we get the chance to play, it'll be great.
Oh, that is actually you're absolutely right with that. Everyone is affected with the pandemic that is happening, but I know for sure that you're in condition. So, but before we go to the PBA and before we go to let's just begin with your journey. When did you start hooping, and who is your influences with regard to playing basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing basketball for as long as I could remember. Growing up just outside on the little hoop, playing in the little leagues in my neighborhood. And just, my parents weren't like, Tiger Woods dads, or like, making me run hills or something like that. But they always, pushed me to, have, especially because they knew I enjoyed it too. That was the main thing. I've just always loved basketball. So that was kind of as a child. And there's been a ton of setbacks along the way. I think I've like kind of mentioned this before, but there were so many times where I thought my career was over, whether it be, injuries. I was growing so fast, right? If you're going to be 6'8", like I'm sure, people like know, it's like your body doesn't even work right when you're growing. And in college, having to decide between my future and following my passion. And then once again, like coming to the Philippines kind of out of nowhere at the last minute. and things just kind of falling into place. It's been a crazy journey, but along the way, I've just tried to, have fun, keep my head down and keep working. And then like, we've kind of talked about, I was lucky enough to get drafted, and I'm just excited for this next phase.
And we are pretty excited to watch you as well. And for me personally, I once I researched your journey, it has served as an inspiration. And giving into this one, it all will boil down to your passion for the game, right? With regard to this, can you please tell us about a specific, the most memorable moment of your basketball career, whether it's going to be in the UAP or in the States?
Yeah, I would say there's two. And it's funny, I'll preface this by saying like it sounds materialistic, but it's not about like what I got. It's more about just like that realization moments. I would say the first one is at Wake Forest when I found out I was, officially going to be a member of the team, and they gave me that team backpack and it had like my little jersey on there and it said RIKE 45, and I called my parents. Like that was just, so much blood, sweat, and tears went into that. That was a moment I'll never forget. And then it literally was the exact same thing when I flew out. I think when I flew out to the Philippines, it was real. And like when I saw that Filipinos jersey with RIKE on the back, I think that might even that trumps the Wake Forest one. Like nothing meant more to me and nothing means more to me. So those are two moments. Like I'm not, if you listen to any of my interviews, I'm not like I am a spiritual and religious person, but I guess I don't talk about it enough. Like I can't thank God enough for like those memories, and I'll always just be so happy to remember that.
Oh, and we're proud of you being proud of the Filipino jersey. And
Yeah.
basically, it's, if I can say in words, it's like a kilig moment if
Yeah,
for
100%.
Filipinos. So,
Yeah,
so
no, it is.
it is. And Wake Forest, it's like a big time school. So growth spurt did actually hit you hard, right? So it didn't adapt with your height and then the skills.
Yeah, I mean, I was like always tall. It wasn't like a crazy like I think it was like Anthony Davis went from like like 5 something to 7 foot. It wasn't like that, but still in the 8th grade when I was about what is that, like 13 years old, I was like 5'9", so I was tall, but not extraordinarily tall. And then I went from 5'9" to 6'8" in the span of like 2.5 3 years. So that was just like that was a weird time for me. So my whole high school and even like 8th grade career, kind of it was a big adjustment. My body was just catching up, and anyone who's kind of gone through growth spurts, whether it's a small one or a big one, it always takes some time to get it figured out.
Must have been challenging, even wearing clothes, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. My mom too. Like I'm sure, like Filipino moms, she's always like, I just bought you this shirt. It doesn't even fit you. I bought you some nice like church clothes and they don't fit you anymore, or shoes and stuff. So, that was always tough growing up, but we made it work.
And pretty amazing that we've actually known the different side, or your different side outside basketball, and we
Yeah,
really
for
enjoyed
sure.
this conversation.
Of course, man. That's the fun stuff to talk about. I like that you guys are giving me an opportunity to talk about, everything, I guess.
Yep. And Nash,
Mr. Troy Reich, how are you doing, man?
Hey, thanks for having me on
Yeah,
Nash Basketball TV. This is the guy.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you here in our podcast. I'm so excited to interview a guy like Troy Reich.
Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
I want to ask, this is my first question.
Uh,
Who are your first 5 NBA players of all time?
oh, this is like favorites, or like I'm building like the best team.
The best team.
Okay. Got to go Jordan and LeBron, 100%. I'm gonna go Kareem at the center. So LeBron small forward, Kareem center, Jordan shooting guard. I'm gonna go Tim Duncan at the power forward. That's a little bit of like a homer pick, but I got to put him there. And then at point guard, you know what? If I'm trying to win games, I'm not sure really need a scorer. So I'm gonna go once again a little off. I'm gonna say John Stockton. I think we got the pieces right there.
John Stockton,
Yeah,
somewhat a stabilizer in the court.
100%. I think Duncan and Stockton can kind of like be the stabilizers, and then we got enough firepower with the other guys to win some games.
All right, speaking of LeBron James, given a chance that the LA Lakers will face the Brooklyn Nets in the finals with a healthy and complete roster, for you, who will get the NBA title and why?
Well, that's tough because that's a big if right now, the healthy and complete roster. I think,
Yeah.
LeBron will be there, Anthony Davis will be there, but I mean, especially Anthony Davis, I'm not sure he's going to be 100%. That's always going to be a tough thing. I still have to go with LeBron, I think. I think I got to go with the Lakers. I think, watching them in the bubble last year, you watched Anthony Davis and LeBron, and it literally looked like they were cheating. Like it was like the Monstars out there. Like who's going to stop them? So I think I still got to go with the Lakers, but man, those Nets look scary.
Another fan of the Lakers here.
Yep.
That's all from me for now. Thank you.
Cool.
Hi, Troy. Good afternoon. I'm Kino from the sideline.
Afternoon.
Let's go back to the PBA draft. Are you surprised when Coach Pido called your name at number 11? And what did you feel?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I was surprised. I think, and this is me being 100% transparent, like now that I reflect and think about it, I think Northport is probably like the best situation I could be in. But before the draft, it wasn't one of the teams that I kind of expected to go to. So it was a little bit surprising. Like I was like fixing my hat and everything, but you never know. The draft is tough. Even the coaches, the managers, the players, no one knows what's going to happen. So it was a little bit unexpected, but I'm just so happy to have landed in what I genuinely think is one of the best situations there could be for me.
Before the PBA draft, did they invite you for a private workout with the team of Northport?
Yeah, they did invite me. I worked out with some teams beforehand. It was tough because I had a quarantine, so I didn't have that many. It was just tough to get the schedules. Literally, I got out of quarantine and it's like, okay, who can let me practice like right now? And I just kind of showed up. So I didn't get the chance to work out with Northport before. I guess that's part of why it was a kind of a surprise. But one of my old NU assistant coaches, Coach Napa, is there. So I think he was kind of familiar with me. And, the coaches obviously did their homework and watched film. We were lucky that we played in Chooks like just a couple months before. So there was a very recent film out there on me. And yeah, it ended up working out. They were willing to take a chance on me.
Again, congratulations, Sir Troy.
Thank you.
Speaking about Northport, Troy, bro, did you have your practice already with first practice with Northport?
No, still haven't
Oh,
practiced.
alright.
It's just, I mean, it's really like the numbers just keep getting worse every day. It's really,
Yeah.
I guess in a sense, I would commend our team in the PBA for taking the kind of safe approach, even though it's really tough for me right now. I've had the chance to talk to my teammates, Greg Slaughter and some of these guys just kind of like offline. And then I've been working out with Jamie Malonzo, most days just because we're kind of in the same boat right now, not being able to physically be at practice. So unfortunately, that's the only experience. And I met Coach Pito in person when we had like a swab test or something, but that's about it so far.
Did they provide you with what are the expectation of the team from you, and what are your expectation from the team?
They haven't, I don't think they've told me specifics of what they expect, like, hey, you're going to have this role. But I do know just in the short talks we've had, they're counting on me, to play minutes, to have an opportunity, which is really all I can ask for. You know what I mean? Even if, that's pretty much all you can give anyone, So that's all I know. I think especially behind Greg, I think there's going to be opportunity for me to take some minutes, not take some minutes, but fill some minutes there. So yeah, I'll go in, I'll give it my best shot. The same stuff I've kind of said throughout the pre-draft process. I think there's a lot of different roles I can fill for the team. And even right away, I think I can step in and be, useful and helpful, and hopefully in a lot of ways.
For sure, and for real, we actually miss. If you miss the basketball, we also miss basketball. So we do really hope that you and the PBA will be back, and because we know we are actually basketball lovers. Philippines is a basketball loving country, so we miss the basketball and we miss matching you. And we are excited to watch you in the PBA. So, with regard to this one, I'll ask this question: what do you think will make you a better professional player compared to being a college player?
I think that for me, my game has always been tailored towards succeeding at a high level and around talented players, even from high school. My high school team, we had multiple other Division 1 guys. Obviously, at Wake, I was playing with NBA guys. My mindset and how I've developed as a player has always been, how can I feel like my game has always translated to no matter what the level. So, and I even said it at the time, I'm not a scorer or someone who's like a dominant force. And sure, that's something I should work on when I'm playing against different kind of competition. But one thing I have always brought to the table, you can ask my Chooks 3x3 coaches when we're playing against international quality players. These are guys who have played in FIBA, FIBA Europe and all this stuff. I was right there, and no problems hanging with them. And then also at Wake with my coaches, playing with guys who are going to the NBA. I've always been able to be a player who is able to be at that level and doesn't look out of place. So I think that's kind of one of my strengths. Going into the PBA, I'm not going to back down or feel like, oh my God, like I've never played against a 7-footer before, or oh my God, this is I feel ready for it. I feel like that's what I've been training for my whole life and kind of what I've been used to.
I see. It is actually commendable because uh, it seems, or I know, watching you, and it seems like you have a high basketball IQ, and you're the perfect role player. So you're a star
Yeah.
role player for the
Yeah.
team. So pretty excited for that as well. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You me- you mentioned Greg Slaughter a while ago. Are you
Mhm.
excited to play with Greg Slaughter, and what we can expect to this version of a Twin Tower of Northport, Madam Pierre?
Yeah, I'm super, super excited. I think it's, there's so many different ways. I mean, first of all, just to learn from him. I think I'm probably going to be guarding him every day in practice. At least that's what Jamie was joking with me about. He's like, man, I had to guard Greg because you weren't there. So, so I'm going to definitely be getting a lot of that in practice. So to learn from him, I think, kind of like I said, in a sense, to be the understudy. I think there's a chance for me to play kind of minutes at the backup 5, but also, as you kind of mentioned, I think we could play together potentially. And, with like, I like to think my ability to stretch the floor and, for him to kind of, be in the paint. I mean, it sounds kind of disrespectful to say he's accomplished so much. So I don't want to like even put myself in that category with him. Or even, I'm not going to grant myself a starting spot either. That's for sure. I got a lot of work to do. But I think, once again, to learn from him and to potentially play with him, I think there is an opportunity like where our strengths and talents kind of fit together.
Now officially in the PBA, in your own opinion, top 3 PBA teams to beat this upcoming PBA season?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, you got to say San Miguel, definitely. I'm going to put Ginebra there too. And then I'm going to have to say, Phoenix is kind of like my, more off. I mean, that's a strong team, man. That's a really strong team. I think you can make arguments for like Magnolia and obviously the MVP teams as well. But just off the top of my head, I guess those were the ones that come to mind. Besides Northport, obviously.
Okay. Nash?
Thank you from the sideline. Here's my question regarding PBA. This is tough, man. I think you will think a lot for this question.
Okay. All right. I'll give
What
it my
will you
best
do
shot.
on your first PBA salary?
First PBA salary. If I'm being honest, I'm just gonna like I've really been into my investing lately. I'll do my own subtle plug. If you're into NBA basketball cards, Trike 415. So I've been doing a lot of that. That's kind of like, it's cool because it's like my fun money, like when I get a Luka Doncic rookie card, it makes me really happy. But also like the way things have been going, it's also an investment. So I haven't been buying like shoes or stuff really at all, like in a year. So if I'm being honest, yeah, it's probably going to basketball cards, as crazy as that sounds.
Sounds cool, man. Another question. Top 3 PBA players matchup you are looking forward.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit. I'm not gonna go matchup. I'm just gonna kind of go guys I'm curious or interested to play against. Gabe Norwood would be number one guy I've always looked up to, kind of like a big bro, a Kuya to me. So I definitely look up to him. I would say this one's this is going to be a tough ask. So I don't even like to put it out there, but like Japeth and Junmar are the other two. You know what I mean? If you want to be a good big, those are the guys you have to try to hang with. So once again, a lot of work, but I guess those would be the 3 names that come to mind right away.
All right. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
Another is, are we expecting that Troy RIKE will provide an immediate impact in the PBA, given lots of playing time?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your definition of impact and lots of playing time. But the one thing I can, promise my team and the fans is I'm going to help us get wins. That's all I know in terms of the playing time and what I'm going to do personally. All I can say is like, man, for this last year, I've been working as hard as I've ever worked. So I've put that work in, and then I think Northport's going to give me an opportunity at least to get on the court in some sense. And then what happens after that, I don't know either. So I don't want to give any strong projections, but I feel ready, and I think that opportunity will be there.
Okay. Thank you. Let's hear now the questions from our viewers. Kino, do you have a question from your subscriber?
As of now, nothing from me.
How about you, D?
From my side, hi Troy RIKE. Apologies for putting you on the spot. I know this will be controversial in a way.
Yeah.
Some viewers are asking, did you receive any invitation for the Gilas Pilipinas? And how did you feel that you're not part of the Gilas special draft?
Yeah, so especially between 5-on-5 and 3x3, I don't know if I'm going to say this, but at least what I've kind of been told is that they wanted me for that stuff. I just think once again, as it's tough with all Phil-Ams, it's just a paperwork thing. You know what I mean? So that's really all that held me back, I think. And once again, I hope I get that opportunity to represent the country again. It's always tough, and I think I have a chance. But once again, at least this is my understanding that if it was purely a skills-based thing, they would have given me that chance. But unfortunately, I don't think that's the case right now. But once again, that's just my understanding of the situation. It's a tough one to navigate,
Yep, actually, a lot of fans and our viewers are really want to see you in the Gilas jersey, but hopefully in the future you'll get the chance.
Yeah, I mean, once again, there's nothing more important to me. That's the one thing like I want out on the record. I've been consistent. Like I think I don't know if I'm going to say this, but like if there's anything I could have done, it would have happened. As long as the fans know that, like that's what's important to me.
Yep. I hope Neil, June, Manuel, and Neil, Brian, Troy RIKE was able to answer your questions. Any question from you guys? Valera's Lifestyle and
I have a question here from my viewer, Jack Arbano. We just want to know, how did you feel on the Gilas and Australian brawl when the Australians praise you from helping Golding?
Yeah. Well, I have one question myself. Is this live? Are we getting these questions live, or people submitted these before?
Yes, we're on.
this is live.
Oh, I had no idea. Good thing I didn't say anything controversial. How did I feel? It was kind of it was all like a whirlwind, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on, and I was so new to the Philippines and everything. So the first thing is like, I was just worried, like, I just wanted to like clear my name because I was being painted as like the bad guy in certain papers. So I never really got a chance to like soak in like the limelight in a sense, I guess, when that happened. So to be honest, I mean, I was happy that it seemed like people even from another country appreciated what I did, but there wasn't like, I don't know. It was just, it was a weird time for me. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a better answer than that, but I guess I just never really thought about it.
Yes,
Thank you.
Troy, I have a question from one of our viewers as well. This is going to be where do you see yourself into your PBA career 5 years from now? And he wants to say shout out. He would like to be shouted out, Kuya Koy.
Kuya Koi.
Yes.
Okay. Shout out to Kuya Koi. Shout out to you, man. Where do I see myself in 5 years? That is a tough question. I have no idea. I wish I could give you a better answer than that. I think with basketball or whatever, I just know that wherever my passion is, like I'll just put my heart into whatever I do. So it's hard for me to say for sure. Like I've been honest with this. I don't have a goal of like, oh, I'm gonna make a PBA All-Star team in my second year, and then in my third year, I'm averaging 20 points per game. Like that's not how I've done anything, honestly. Even with the
Yeah.
Wake Forest thing, like I wish I could tell you a great story of like I wrote it on my wall. I'm gonna make the Wake Forest team, and then I did it. Like that's just not how I operate. I just, I put my work in, and then wherever that takes me, that's what happens.
Thank you for that. And it's quite surprising to hearing that from you. And again, to all our viewers, now you definitely have an in-depth um, view with our knowledge about Troy Reich and how he look into things with regard to that. And by the way, going back to the segment, we do have a special segment for you, and it will be hosted by none other than my brother, D Sports TV.
Oh, okay. All right. We got some pictures here. I'm excited.
Just give me a few seconds.
Cool. No
Let me
worries.
know.
No
Let me
worries.
know once you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can
Let
see
me know
it.
once you can see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so I believe you're watching my my videos. You know the pictures. So
Yep.
for this one, you played for 4 years for Wake
Uh-huh.
Forest, and before returning to the Philippines, what is your greatest memory during your time with Wake Forest?
Well, it's funny that this is A+ work here because this photo might be one of them. It's between two things. This photo is when I hit the three against Duke at Cameron Indoor. You know that legendary stadium. I was so happy running back. That's always a great memory, something I'll never forget. And then also when we made the NCAA tournament my junior year, watching like our name pop up on the screen and we were all together clapping. I would say those are probably two of the top ones.
Next one, after your career in Wake Forest, you played for the NU Bulldogs in the UAP, and
Yeah.
you are the first player to do the one and done. What are your thoughts having a rule name after you, the Troy Reich rule?
Well, I've always joked I'm not a good enough basketball player to have a whole rule named after me, but I think I'm happy I was kind of able to like blaze a path. I don't think that's really like an opinion or hopefully not being too full of myself. Like I think I have kind of created an opportunity. My teammate now, Jamie, he had such a great time at LaSalle, and my friends like Val and stuff like that. I'm so happy that they got to experience that like I did. So it's once again, it's an honor to be the one who has that actual rule named after him.
I think that is cool. For the next photo, yeah, this one, this picture was taken during the Philippine-Australia brawl. You mentioned it before, and I know you already shared this story numerous times during your past interviews, but I believe this story will never get old. So can you share it once more to our viewers? What is your greatest memory during this event?
Greatest memory. I mean, I don't know. It's just the whole thing was kind of tough, so I try not to dwell on it too much. But I think just I guess I'll tell the story really shortly. Once again, there was kind of all this stuff happening before the game. I wasn't really even aware of it because I was kind of like in and out of the locker room. So I didn't see, like, for instance, the stickers or the tripping or all this kind of stuff. And, I saw kind of like the little bit of like tension breaking out. And usually for anyone who watches like NBA games, like people get in each other's faces and then they just get broken up. But no one really ever broke them out. So I was like kind of like laughing at first. I was like, okay, here we go. And then this huge fight breaks out and it's all just a blur. You know what I mean? Like I've always said this whole time, like I wish I could say it was like this heroic thing I felt compelled to do. And I was like, this is not okay. I just like, if I see someone on the floor who's like defenseless, it's just, it was just a natural reaction. And once again, I've always said, like, I don't take my side is definitely the Philippines, but I guess in terms of like, I'm not like this side was 100% right or this side was 100% wrong. I think things always happen on the basketball court. My only issue was 100% not with anyone except for the fact that, like, once people are getting involved with hurting a player who aren't players, like then I guess that's kind of what I had an issue with.
Yep. And for the next picture, one good deed to another, you were actually rewarded with cash incentives, and you donated 100% of it to charities. What made you decide to donate it instead?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out to Boss Ronald. Shout out also, if anyone's watching this, please support Chooks. They're playing at 7:30 tonight. One of the first teams to represent the Philippines. They are the first team to represent the Philippines this year, 7:30. So check out Chooks 3x3. Shout out Boss Ronald. But yeah, I didn't feel like I should get a reward for something that was just like, it felt natural for me to do. And just in such a trying time, I thought, what's best. Like, I just felt that was the best thing to do with the money. You know what I mean? I think it helped in a sense unite our two countries, or at least uplift some people. So I don't know. Once again, it wasn't something like, oh, I really thought about it. It's just when he told me that, I was like, well, I'm not going to take it. Like, can we donate it? And then that's what it was.
Cool story. For the next picture, you were part of Gilas 23 for 2023 of Coach Chot, and you represented Philippines playing for Mighty Sports on international tournaments. How proud are you wearing the Gilas Filipinas jersey, and how's the experience playing with Lamar Odom?
Yeah, I mean, so proud. I kind of talked about it before. Like, there's nothing that has meant more to me than wearing that Philippines jersey. It's what I've dreamt of my whole life. In terms of playing with Lamar, it was awesome, man. Like, being on the court, learning from him, but also just the off the court stuff. I mean, how often in your life do you get to like make a move and he tells you like, no, you got to do it like this? I remember when Kobe told me, I'm like, man, you know what I mean? He's telling us Kobe practice stories and we're getting to learn from it. Like, also a super nice guy. I think this isn't that controversial to say, no matter in what country, when you have imports, a lot of times they're there to, play basketball, get their check, and they're not really that interested in, telling campfire stories. But Lamar was just a great guy who wanted to, get to know us and really embrace the Philippines. So one of the, great guys I played with.
And this photo is your last championship playing 3x3. How was the journey like that you are the team to beat during the 3x3 tournament and you are the targets of every team? Yeah, I mean, that's one of my proudest achievements in terms of winning that championship, because we were, marked men the whole time. Also being in the bubble, like it's easy for people to say like, okay, you were the best team. Like, yes, in terms of talent, we were, I will say that, but everything else was going against us. Every team was giving us their best shot. 3x3 is different than 5-on-5 for anyone who's watched it. Like, it's to 21. And literally if a team hits 2 or 3 threes, that can change the whole game. In a 5-on-5, you have the whole game to come back. But in 3x3, it's like, it happens like that. You can lose in a second. And also being in the bubble, just having that mental grind. We only lost, I think it literally was 2 games the whole time. And I couldn't be proud of what we did, especially because for all of us, it was a 2-year journey to kind of doing that. And for the last picture, how was the feeling being part of the PBA? And how's the experience that it is an online event instead of the actual going to the venue?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. You know, I think for me, like I've kind of said it before, like I'm not like a pop bogey. Like I don't like not a big, you know, I don't want the spotlight on me. So for me to just kind of experience the draft in my own home and like that, it was cool with me. It was chill, especially because there were some nerves. So the fact that it was virtual, it was kind of nice to me, honestly.
Okay, thank you. Interesting. Thank you for the sharing, and that's it for the team memories.
Of course, thanks for the trip down memory lane there.
Yep, and even us, we definitely enjoy the trip down memory lane. And before I have a finale question for you. It's not about basketball, but
Okay.
may you please describe yourself in one word and why?
Oh, that's a tough. This is like we're in marriage counseling or something.
Yeah,
It's like a dating show.
yeah.
Describe myself in one word. Um, I've never done this before. I guess I would say, um, man, I'm absolutely stumped. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I guess I would say,
that's fine. That's fine.
here's one. This is like kind of like a lame answer, but I would say, wave. And I'm gonna have to explain that one
Yep.
because first of all, like California kid, like it's always been like, you know, like the wave, also like the Philippines islands, like I've always felt at home, like by the beach, like by the ocean, it's always felt right to me. So that's one, but also like I was trying to like go with the flow in a sense. Like I kind of, you know, life is just waves, and I think I've done a good job of like, you know, trying to ride them when I can, and like just going with whatever happens and making the most out of it. That's always how I've kind of like looked at life. Like I said before, like I've never been the person, you know, good or bad, to like write something down and be like, this is what I'm gonna do. So maybe okay, I should have better goals, but also at the same time, I've never been the person like something happens to me, I don't let it knock me down. I just keep going and see what I can do.
It is awesome. Thank you so much for that, and it's quite an amazing answer.
Oh, thanks.
I try before going into my last question. I have a question here from Miljon Manuel again. What are you working on right now to improve your game?
Yeah, I think for me, the most important thing that I'm continuing to work on is my body. I think that's the most important thing to me, my strength and athleticism. Like if I'm being honest, like I felt like in the bubble for 3x3, like that was some of the best basketball I've played. And you know, that whole like for months, the gyms weren't even open, like the basketball gyms. But I just spent that whole time working on my strength and athleticism. But I feel like for me, like you know, everyone has to work on it, but like I feel confident in my shooting. I feel confident in my basketball IQ. Like that stuff comes back to me pretty quickly. So, especially to defend the Giants in the PBA, and then also hopefully to be quick enough to guard some, you know, quicker players on the perimeter as well. I feel like that's the most important thing for me. So, that's really what I've been working on, just putting in like reps in the weight room and running and jump rope and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, sir. Troy, this is my last question. A PBA player that you don't want to play because he is too good and will give you so much headache.
I don't think I can say like there's a play. I can't. I won't say I'm afraid of. I'll change the question because I won't say that. But I think kind of what I said earlier, Junmar and Japeth is like that's always going to be a challenge. So I guess those would be like the matchup that I know I'm gonna have to like. If I get that opportunity, I got to bring my A game too.
Again, thank you so much, Sir Troy Wright, for having us, for having you here in our
Yeah.
last 2 minutes podcast. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Nash Basketball TV.
Thank you from the sideline. Once again, thank you, Troy, for visiting our podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I had fun, guys. Thank you for all that.
Yeah, hopefully this is not the last time that you will be guesting here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Once we get the I've been watching like, you know, I like JJ Redick's podcast. I've been watching that one. So maybe I can be like a little inside scoop. I can be the courtside reporter for you guys.
That's
That's
wonderful.
nice.
There we go.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
let's
that.
do it. Of course.
I just want to shout out my subscriber, Mark de la Cruz, Anthony Hanoras, Riel Apines, and Arturo Samonte. And I have here one more question. Question from my subscriber. Your thoughts. Who has a better career this season, Anthony Davis or Jordan Clarkson?
Who has a better season? Well, I would have to say so far it has to be Jordan Clarkson. I think it depends. If the Lakers win the championship, you have to say if Anthony Davis contributes in any way, I think you have to give him that. But just objectively, like what Jordan Clarkson's done, like, man, hats off to him, making us all as Filipinos, very, very proud. And he's outplayed some amazing players. So for right now, I got to go Clarkson.
Thank you. This is my final question. If you were given a chance to wish to the basketball gods, what 3 basketball skills or talents you wish to be granted?
Oh man. The first would be definitely some more athleticism. That'd be great. That'd be the first one. This is for me, right?
Yeah.
So athleticism number
right
1.
Now.
I think that's enough. I'll get no, but the other 2, I don't know. I guess maybe like some ball handling. Ball handling would be nice. And then number 3, I mean, while we're at it, I might as well be 6'10". If I'm going to get those other 2 things, I think I can make a real career out of this. So, wouldn't mind being a little taller as well.
That's right. Having a 6'10" height with an Uncle Drew
Kevin
ball
Durant.
handling.
Yeah, exactly.
And athleticism of Vince Carter.
Yeah, there we go. That's a scary sight right there, and they're not ready for that one.
All right. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, from my side, there are actually a few questions from our viewers. The first one, it's from Miljun Manuel. What are your learnings playing 3x3 that you can bring into PBA?
One would be physicality. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, it was crazy. Like, I think, there were some people who, I mean, I guess fair enough, hadn't watched too much of my film since UAP, but it's crazy. There was questions about my toughness because it's like, man, 3x3 is no blood, no foul. Like, literally the stuff you're able to be like, oh, the PBA adjustment. And it's going to be an adjustment, but like that physicality is going to be, I think objectively people would say that a notch down from, 3x3. My other learning is just versatility. You can't just be a big man. You can't even just be a guard in 3x3. So having a guard, once again, like these Serbian Euro Cup players on the perimeter, you have to figure it out pretty quickly. And also just, like really, really learning the game. I think that was, a big thing for me.
For the next one, it's from today's basketball news. Who is the player that you're excited to play with in the PBA?
I think I'll have to go with my batchmate. I got to go with Jamie Malonzo. I mean, obviously Greg Slaughter, Sean Anthony, we have a bunch of talented players, but I think, me and Jamie have been talking for a while. So to get to share the court with him will be great.
And for the last question, Jack Arbano, he is asking do you think your perimeter game will be an advantage in the PBA? Because we all know that you can shoot it from the outside. You're a stretch 4. So do you think it will be an advantage in the PBA?
100%. And that's something I've said throughout the pre-draft process the whole time is you got to think like 2 out of the 3 conferences, you have an import who's scoring 30 points per game. So they don't want a big man just, for the most part, just sitting there in the paint, taking up their space. So I think that versatility in terms of I can, be in the paint, but also, modern day basketball, spacing the floors is as important as anything. So I think that's a unique advantage I bring to the table that, maybe not so many other people do.
Thank you. And for my last question, we all know about the issue regarding eligibility to play local for Gilas Pilipinas for FIBA sanction tournaments. What if the rule will be abolished and anyone who has Filipino blood can play for Gilas Pilipinas? Who is your Gilas Pilipinas starting 5? And you're the power forward already, so you just have to name point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and center. Anyone who has Filipino blood, Jordan Clarkson is included.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this opportunity too to like ask a question as well. If anybody's followed, like I think it's like Nigeria or one of these other teams, a lot of these other teams are just adding people. Like they have like 7 NBA players on their team that are from the US, and a lot of these other countries, I know people who play for like Greece and all this stuff. So I don't know how. I guess that's just like something I've been very confused at lately. It seems like literally I've never heard of any other country having issues besides the Philippines. So that's, it's kind of a weird thing. But starting five, I'm gonna go Clarkson. Oh man, this is tough. I think I'm just gonna. I'm not thinking through this that much, guys. So I'm gonna go Clarkson. I gotta have Norwood in there. Just because he's a legend. Um, I have hope for Kai Soto. I think you got to throw him in there going forward. Um, man, Kobe Paras, man. I think he's such a talented player, man. People don't talk about him enough. I got to have him in there too. So I guess that'd be, Kai Soto. We'll put Gabe at the 4, Kobe at the 3, Clarkson. I guess we'll throw on point guard. Who are we going shooting guard? I'm thinking long term with this. So I guess, no disrespect to anyone I'm kind of keeping out. I guess I'll throw love to a little to Phil as well. Dwight Ramos is really good, guys. So look out for him. He might have to be in there as my 2. I think big things coming for him. So once again, that wasn't the most well thought through lineup there, but those are a bunch of guys I'm really excited about.
But that is actually a strong lineup. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Well, speaking of Kai Soto, do you think he will make the NBA someday? Just a quick question. Thank you.
I think he still has a chance. I just think that I don't know. It's just tough. It's tough. There's so many people who are trying to steer him a certain way, and so many different things going on. I feel for him, man, especially too. I know there's been critics of him lately, man. That's tough, So I guess once again, no one asked, but I'll give this my opportunity. Guys, just stick behind him. It's so tough. It's so tough. You don't understand. Even to be in the G League, do you know how good those players are? That's such an accomplishment. So it's going to be really tough. And I have teammates. I knew this whole time. I have teammates from Wake Forest who are 7-footers who could touch literally the top of the backboard. They could grab something off the top of the backboard, and they made it. They never suited up in the NBA. So, but I think Kai's a really smart kid, and you can't teach height, and so I believe if he keeps working, anything is possible.
Thank you.
For sure, and thank you for cordially answering all of our questions, and we really
Of
enjoyed
course.
the episode. So before we end the episode, let me give you the time to actually thank your Chooks to Go fans, National University fans, the Filipino fans in general, and your Northport Batang Pier fans.
Of course. I mean, you got it all right there. Anyone who's supporting me, from NU to Chooks, from if we happen to have any Wake Forest fans in the chat, Northport fans now. Thank you so much. It means the world to me, and especially in the bubble last year, we talked about it. We feel a real obligation to hopefully put on a show for you guys, provide some entertainment. So it means the world to me. I guess the one other opportunity I'll take to say this is all the messages, especially after the draft, it was hard for me to reply to everyone. So anyone who reached out or continues to send me messages, I do see all of them, and I appreciate it so much. And I'm just going to keep working hard to hopefully make you guys proud.
And again, thank you so much, Troy. And you're one of the brothers now of the Last 2 Minutes podcast. We're looking forward in
Yes.
having you here in the show again. So basically, to our viewers, you already got to know Troy Reich, not just the player, but also a human being. So let me borrow a quote from the LeBron James movie. It's more than a game for Troy Reich. So to all our
Nice.
viewers, good night. Have your great dinner. Happy weekend, y'all.
See you guys.